I hope you've all prepared your questions. Don't be afraid when we had our little talk to start off with to go to the microphone stand because you are here welcome to listen, maybe learn, but also to ask the questions you've always wanted to ask about what it takes to organize a festival. And I can tell you these people have stories to tell. So if you ask the right questions, this is going to be 1 hour that will be quite entertaining. So with both microphones working, with the cameras working, and the organizers waiting, I will introduce them to you as I call them out on the stage. And I think we should start with a familiar face. So Mark van der Stelt, if you can join me. This is Mark van der Stelt, people.
Thanks, well.
And well, you may have seen that there was a festival organized in the UK, only just a bit of days away. And the guy behind that all, organizing the Fantasy Forest in the UK at Sudeley Castle, is Martin. And then if we go to the more northern part of the country, there is a festival called Middeleeuws Winschoten. Pretty awesome, suited around a lake. And the guy behind that all is Meini Zweep. And last but not least, someone, we weren't quite sure if he could make it, but I'm very, very glad he's here. If you've ever heard of Festival Mediaval on the Czech-German border, the guy behind it all is Blaecky Schwarz. Now, this is the time where I sit down. And I think it is quite amazing that you are all here. I think it's also telling something. So the first question I have is, Mark, why did you invite people who organize festivals like you do?
My competition.
Yeah, keep your enemies close so they have less space to move,
no,
right? No.
Yeah, for me, organizing a festival is creating something beautiful for the public. And my colleagues, because these are my colleagues, do that too. So it's good to be together and talk together and create together for almost the same audience.
Yeah, and with a similar goal in mind, I think. But let's talk about this. Why are you in this game, in this scene? And again, if it's hard in English, we can do the translation game.
Why I'm now in this scene? I don't know. I was on a festival in Paterswolde. There I saw it for the first time, and I was falling in love with this. Yes, it was beautiful. So I thought, why not? Start with it.
I remember standing next to you some years ago at Winschoten, and you were we were talking, and you just said, "Look at all this." And you pointed at the lake, the Viking boat that was in there, and you spoke of how you just wanted it to be there, which I think is awesome. Je wilde dat het festival gewoon er was. Het maakte niet uit wat daarvoor nodig was, wat erbij kwam kijken, maar het moest er zijn.
Ja, dat klopt. En ook de omgeving en de plek was zo geweldig mooi. En het heeft nog wel de uitstraling gekregen. Dus ja, dus...
Yeah, what he said is you know how it's sometimes all about location, location, location. And well, having this lake to organize a festival around is just, the lake is worth a festival, right? Yeah. Talking about location, location, location. Yeah. Yeah. Sudeley Castle is a brilliant castle with beautiful gardens surrounding it. And suddenly, at Sudeley Castle, there was this festival, Martin. What did you do?
Yeah, that was pretty amazing that we could have the festival there. I still remember the first time we got there. We were on a tour. We're visiting 6, 7, 8 possible locations. And we just visited a cricket field, and then after that we came to Sudeley Castle, and we said, well, wouldn't it be great if we could have the festival here? But we said, no, it's too expensive. We didn't know what it was going to cost yet, but we said, no, it's too expensive. It was too expensive. Well, either you do it right or you don't do it. So yeah, we said this is what we need to do, this is where we need to be, and this is what we want. So we changed the budget a little bit on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you did. It was really a lot of fun being there, and I experienced the same warm feelings I feel at the other festivals. So awesome.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a little game because Blaecky, we traveled a lot to see the 11th version of your festival last year, which was reminiscing on the previous 10, because you wanted the best of all the previous ones. And you doubled the festival both on the German and on the Czech side of the border. And what we saw there was amazing. You started, well, like I said, 11 years ago. You're going on your 12th. And what happened that 12 years ago you decided to build Festival Mediaval?
When I was young, I always thought I was born too late to go to Woodstock Festival. My first festival with 16 was in the Bavarian forest, and it was from the feeling like Woodstock.
Yeah.
So I love festivals. And I always wanted to make a big festival. And I was in the medieval scene with my stand. I sold precious stones for 35 years. And then I thought, now it's a lot of music. The scene developed more and more. Now it's the time to start a festival. And then I did it. Yeah. Very simple.
Well, you sure did. I had some awesome bands playing there and some really awesome ones coming up in the next edition. The way you centered the last edition of your festival around music, is that the heart of the festival, or is there more going on?
It's much, much, much more. We want to have a multicultural festival. So we have a literature tent, we have jugglers, we have artists, a lot of handcraft, nearly everything in arts we have around, but the music is the heart for sure.
Yeah. And I think the same goes for you. If muziek is dat bij jullie ook de kern van het festival? Want er gebeurt zoveel meer omheen. There's so much more happening than just the music.
No, yes, music is very important, but also we have a lot of other things like steampunk, lab, everything. It's a family festival. Everybody can come and everyone is enjoying. So that's for us the most important thing.
Yeah. And to move to the other side again. I just had a talk with people that were found through YouTube, the SID, by Natasha, if I remember correctly. But you must have so many bands that come up to you. How do you find the right mix of music for the stages you have? It's just...
Blaecky is laughing, and I know why. It's a horrible job. No, it's not a horrible job. No, it's a really fun job. But it's sometimes listening to a lot of not so good music.
And then you have to be really polite.
No. If people ask me, what do you think of my music? They ask me the question, they ask my opinion, and then I give my opinion.
I think that is the best way for them to grow.
Yeah. But we get YouTube links, we get emails, we get CDs. But most of the bands we book, we have seen live.
Yeah.
And if you've seen a band live, then you know if they can perform.
Yeah.
On a CD, you can do anything. you can, even I can sing then.
Oh, wait, because I know you have this act called the Silent Brothers.
Yeah, it's not.
We
It's
will
silent.
now, of course, dare you to not be silent.
Yeah, no, my singing won't. No, that won't happen. That
No,
won't
not
be,
a compilation
no.
album of 50 years of Castlefest
No,
with
then
Mark.
you don't hear anything anymore. No, but on a CD you can do anything. You can adjust anything, and you can sing really good and not have a really good stage performance. The energy on stage, that's what gets the crowd.
Yeah.
There are also bands who are not so musical excellent, but do a really excellent stage show.
Yeah.
And,
So
and they are there to entertain the public.
Okay, so it's like getting the crowd going, getting the energy flowing, having them dancing maybe even, and getting, or like with Heilung, getting them into, can we call it a trance? Because it was like a meditative state.
Aesthetic
Yeah.
state. That
Yeah.
was what comes to mind.
Yeah. And then, of course, yeah, you could feel the question coming. You had your first festival. How did you pick the bands for that first time?
Well, we had a wish list to start with, and we pretty much fulfilled that wish list. We knew most of the bands already. Harmony Glen, for example, we knew we wanted them as the headliner to close on Saturday and Sunday. That was on the top of our list, and we actually were able to get them. Then, of course, you're in the UK, so you're in a different country, and you have to realize that the bands that are popular over here, they're quite unknown in the UK. So to be able to draw a crowd and to sell tickets, you also need local bands that are known over there. And we were very fortunate with Incubus Succubus, for example. They came to us and said, look, we'd heard about your festival, we'd like to perform. And that was a big hit.
They are phenomenal, of course.
Yeah, they're
legendary.
They're very close by. They live there and in the area, so that was great.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, if you go to the UK, you must have the dolmen.
I was about to say, if I remember correctly, you've had the dolmen now.
Yeah.
You've had the dolmen multiple times. I think they are at home at your festival. How about Festival Mediaval? Have the dolmen ever been there?
The dolmen? Oh, in the beginning, yeah, yes.
Seems like it's maybe time to... I'm not going to be plugging any bands here. I have one final third question before we switch to the audience. And then you'll see me disappear there as well, because I'm going to be over there at the mic stand. It's not just you organizing a festival, right? There are so many people involved in getting all this. We have now a sound technician, people with the camera, lights are here for a reason. We're sitting on a stage that had to be built. How do you find the people that are willing to even help you and offer their holiday to just come here and experience what it's like to work at a festival? Thank you.
They just send an email or call us. No.
Do they have to perform on stage as well before you let them in?
No. From the start, we had a lot of volunteers.
Yeah.
And from that day forward, some of them stayed and grew and are now in a more management place. So, and new volunteers are still coming. I think it goes, organic.
Yeah, it grows with the festival itself.
Yeah. And we really need those people, because without the volunteers, we can't do anything.
Well, you say without volunteers? Martin, can you share a bit of what happened when you organized the festival?
Yeah, well, as a first-time festival, you do not have the luxury of people emailing you, and they don't flock to your call. So we had to do a lot of advertising, and you don't know, obviously you never know what you're going to receive. And in the end, I think over half of the volunteers did not show up when the time came. So we actually had to run the whole festival with 35 volunteers instead of 70. And they were all bloody amazing. They were really, really, really good. And we've been very lucky with them. And all of them will be back next year, and then you'll have a core, and then you can expand on it. But for the first year, yeah, that's always, I guess, challenging to find those people that you can actually, that actually function very well within your organization.
I can attest that they were amazing, because I heard from a lot of merchants and other people that were there that they really had no clue that it was the first time that you organized it, because it was so professionally done.
Yeah.
And with half the volunteers, amazing job.
They've now been nicknamed the purple shirts, which is a name we have adopted as well.
So what is happening here, right? I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but they have switched shirts.
It's like a football game. Yeah.
I think that's a good enough explanation. If we can, for one last time, switch again. You've been around for many years as well with the Middeleeuws Winschoten.
Yes.
You must have your core volunteers as well. You have your family involved, I know, but then many, many people surrounding them.
Yes, in the beginning when we are starting, we were 10, 15 people, including family.
Yeah.
And we are growing, and we start to be crazy. We are asking people, can you please help us? And now we have volunteers and the family, of course.
Yeah.
Because without family and without volunteers, it's not possible to do this kind of events.
Awesome. And well, how is it for Festival Mediaval?
Yeah, as we started, it was family and friends. Our structure is that we have about 30 people in the orga. Orga means that you lead one part, the merch or the camping or this, and then 100 volunteers. But the most of the orgas are also volunteers, so we have just 2 people paid in all this structure. Everybody else is free and easy. Yeah. Okay, there are some parts like security or on the stage, the technicians, these are paid, these are professionals, but all other things are made by volunteers, and it is not possible in another way for the Mediaval, because otherwise we can't pay our bills.
Oh, so this, I think this is a testament to what is happening when you're organizing a festival. If people don't just flock to your call, as you say, if there's not something there in the heart of all your festivals, there is really something beautiful going on. Well, the number of people that come to you and are willing to help you, I think is saying something about the community we have, the special, let's call it energy that is there at a festival.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful that you all do what you do. We try
Maybe one last thing. We from the organizing, we talk about the team, but all the volunteers, they're talking about family.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
And so
for us it's the same.
We are 4 weeks together. So we have nearly 3 weeks built up, then we have the festival and 1 week built down. So we're nearly 4 weeks together. And the crew is coming together, we're sitting on the fires and we're talking, and it's like family. And that's why they come back.
Yeah, yeah. It's the same, I think, what happened in the UK.
Yeah, it's you really saw it after the festival on a Sunday evening when we had closed and the traders had gone home, and then there was a party, and that really was a party. Yeah, with the bands playing acoustic in the crew tent, the crew dancing, and it's amazing how they bonded within, well, basically just for some of them just 2-3 days, others just over a week, and now it is a family. It happens very fast. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, we did the changing of the mics game, but you're going to have to figure it out amongst yourselves. If you have questions, now's the time. I will go up to the mic stand. Don't be afraid. I don't bite. I don't think you do. So you're welcome in any language. That's you're welcome in any language of your choosing to come to the stand and ask your questions. And well, please direct them to one or all of the people. Let them know who needs to have the mic. And then wait for the mic to be there so you will be heard. So yeah, all the questions you've been dying to ask about organizing a festival, please come forward and well, they're going to take them for you. I see we already have somebody coming up.
Thank you.
Please state who you are.
Okay.
And what your question is and to whom.
Okay, my name is Dylan, and I've been a Castlefest regular for several years, and I visited Fantasy Forest last week, and it was fantastic. And this is actually a question for Martin, which is, how did you... Well, the first part of the question is for Martin, and then if any of you want to elaborate. How did you identify that there was enough kind of room in the market for another festival that's kind of in a similar scene?
Yeah, right. That's actually a very good question. Well, to be honest, it started here at Castlefest because I visited a couple of times here, and there's a lot of English people here. And when you speak to them, they all say one thing. They say, if only we had something like this in the UK. Why isn't there something like this in the UK? So I listened to that for a couple of years, and since no one else was taking action on that, I just thought, okay, let's look into that. And I actually did some market research in the UK regarding festivals available there, and yeah, I found out they were absolutely correct. There's nothing like what we have in mainland Europe, like Castlefest or Elfia or the MPS or any of these festivals. They don't have it there, so. That's how I realized there was a market there and there was a segment that we could tap into, and based on the reactions we had, it seems that we were correct on that. Yeah, but it takes research.
And I guess the second part of that is the market, is saturated at this point. Where does it grow to next?
Well, I would not have tried it within the Netherlands, to be honest, because I remember that 10 years ago there were 2 festivals to go to, and you really waited for 6 months to either go to Elfia or to Castlefest. And these days there's now something to do almost every weekend. So I would never have dared to try it here, but in the UK, yeah, there was still a market. I don't know if anyone else wants to say anything about this subject.
I don't think you can say if the market is growing or decreasing. You don't know. I think every time for the real fantasy scene, when a really good fantasy movie or something like that comes out, you see people dressing like that, and perhaps you even see more people coming to the fantasy festivals. But it's mostly you can do research for a small part, but the rest is just a dive in the deep and hope for the best.
Thank you.
Thank you for having the courage to ask the first question. Now I'm curious, of course. There's the answer, if there is a second one. Please state your name and for who the question is, if not for all. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. I've been going to Castlefest and Celtfest for a long time, so I'm sorry I don't know a lot about the other festivals. But what I loved about these festivals is just amazing food that you have on these festivals. And I would like to know, how do you choose, or like the stands that bring that food to this amazing festival?
I think that's also something that grew. When we started Castlefest, we only had the Cooking Highlander and 1 or 2 German stands. And after organizing every year, you get like like the bands, you get emails from people who want to sell food, but you also get a reaction from the public, what they would like to eat, and there you try to make a good setting for really different kind of food, so everybody can eat what he or she wants. If it's meat, vegan, vega, it doesn't matter. You need to have food for everyone.
Thank you.
Any others who want to elaborate on this as well?
I think I'm very lucky because when I started the festival, I was 25 years in the medieval scene in Germany. So I had a lot of contacts. So from before the first festival, I just ask around and I see, oh, this stand is good and this is good, and I ask the people. And now we got hundreds of emails, oh, we want to come to you, so we can choose. So our market is really good and we choose, and we have the experience from our living in the market, which stands are good and which things are good. And one thing is, you said vegan, yeah? So it's as I said before, it was time for Medieval Music Festival. Now it's time to go the next step. So we are trying to get an ecological festival, biological festival. So this year we said to all food and drink people, you have to make one thing in biological. And we have now one tavern and one food stand, which are pure biological. And we have vegan and everything. And I think this is what I want, that this goes step by step more. So I want to have in some years a pure ecological festival. So we are separating our garbage. We have electricity from atomic and coal-free, and now we start step by step that in some years we only have biological food. So, but this is what I want, and so this is to lead from the top, and yeah, to lead the festival.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, awesome. I think it's time for the third question.
Hi, I'm Stefan from Germany, and sorry for my bad English, but every one of you must have a big story about a big fail or something went horrible wrong, and I just want to hear them. Did you maybe forget to order toilets for the people or something like that? So if you have a funny story to tell, I would like to ask you if you could tell it.
Okay, so now it's time for the juicy bits. See, suddenly they have to decide who's going to be first.
Yeah, so the mic was handed to me since obviously I just finished my first festival ever. So I have a list of big fails. Trying to find the biggest one. Well, there's this. If you look at the non-lethal ones, there was a trader that had hired 2 tents and a specific spot, and they were placed on Wednesday by a tent company which pushed the pins into the ground 1 meter deep, so it wasn't movable, and it turned out we just placed it in the wrong location, which was quite unfortunate. But we made bigger mistakes, and there's also you also make mistakes as a festival organizer that impact people. And I specifically remember that very late in the evening there was an entertainer that arrived, and apparently by some of my staff there was an agreement with them that there should be a marquee waiting for them, as they were going to trade from that marquee as a return favor for what they were going to do as a performance during the day. the marquee wasn't there, and at that time we were not able to solve it very quick, and they turned around, went home in the middle of the night. So these things also happen, and whenever you deal with festival organization, you deal a lot with people, and you make there are easy mistakes, there are more complex mistakes, but the ones that actually deal with people, those are always the biggest fails, because these are the hardest ones to correct.
Thank you for your honesty, by the way.
So many years, so many failures. There are more failures than years. Yeah. Failures. Sometimes you think something is a good idea, and afterwards it appears it's not a good idea. We had set up the terrain a couple of times in a way that after the first day we found out that it wouldn't work, or we chose a company to set up the toilets, and it were horrible toilets. It was a really good concept, but the toilets were horrible.
Did you know this in advance? Because you were spot on.
A couple of years ago, we had contact with a company who set up toilets and showers, and they were you could fold them together, and then you could have a lot of toilets on one trailer. So with the environment in our back, we thought that would be good. Not 20, 30, 40 trailers with toilets, but just 3. That's good for the environment. And we chose to do that. And that were toilets and showers where if it rained, you were sitting in the rain. They were really horrible. But that's one of the mistakes, or trusting the wrong people. In the first year, someone said, "Yeah, I know anything about electricity. You just need 2 generators, and I have some cables. We will fix that." Oh man, that was horrible. During the first night, at the last band, the musician wanted to play the first chord on his guitar, and there was coming a lot of smoke out of the generator, and no lights, no nothing. And in 5 minutes, my brother and I got another generator on the other side of the terrain. It was on a trailer. We went over. There was not that much public anymore, so it was easy. We went with a van to that trailer. We unlocked it, so the other people were in the dark at once. And we drove with a still going on generator to the stage. We plugged it in, and in 7 minutes we had music. Now, when you plan things, you plan on failure. You hope to get it for 80% right, so you can fix the other 20% at the site with the personnel you have there.
And I think Meini is sitting pretty comfortably with you talking about several mistakes, but maybe it's confession time for him now?
De grote fouten die jij gemaakt hebt op een gegeven moment.
I don't have.
Well, over to Blaecky then.
I make a lot of mistakes, but it's to learn it from it. For the next time we can do it better. But yes, what do we wrong? You tell it all. generators, toilets, too many, not enough. Yeah. Too small, start without any money. It's a bad thing. But yeah, we're fighting and we make a nice event.
That is the spirit, right? You can sit down and cry and say, why this is happening to me, or you can stand up and fight for the cause you're working for.
No, we don't cry.
Exactly, you fight and move on.
We're fighting.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we can do, and no, then you will have success.
Okay, well, I think Blaecky knows what question is coming now.
Before we started, most people thought we are crazy, and it's a big mistake to start the festival Mediaval at all. After the first festival, nearly everybody, also in the crew and in the orga, thought it was a big mistake to make the festival Mediaval because it was a very cold weekend, very, very cold. We had ice so long on the tents, yeah. -7 degrees in the night, and so we lost a lot of money, really a lot, and we started without own money. So, but the reactions were so good that I thought, okay, we have to go on, and I think now it's good. I think the biggest mistake I made was the night tournament. Because I want to bring every year a new attraction, and in 1 year I made a night tournament. A night tournament is expensive, but nobody wanted to see it. So we let it. It just was one experience. This year I tried to make a living chess as a theater. We will see how many people want to see it.
Well, thank you, because these were entertaining answers. Well, your turn.
Yes, I'll try my best English, Antoine. I was wondering, I did the education by LOE for event organizer, which was rubbish. Are you educated as event organizer? You make it sound like you just rolled into it.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. That's part of a good question. Answer.
In my youth, in my small town I was grown up, there was a Verein. Was Verein?
Vereniging, it's, yeah.
Young people did culture for young people. And there were a lot of different things, and then the money come in from concerts. So I went there with 16. I learned 2 years to make concerts. 1 year I was leading the team, and then I left my hometown. And lot of years later, I started the festival. And this time changed a lot from organization, because there we made the posters by hand. There was no email, nothing in this time, just another working. But so I learned in my youth what is necessary for a concert, and also for small festivals, what we're organizing there. But for the big festival, it was like jumping in the cold water for the first time.
Very brave.
Before I started organizing Castlefest, the biggest thing I organized was a barbecue for 25 persons. I'm not educated in this. It's a part of common sense, a lot of stupidity.
There's hope for me then.
And a lot of making mistakes and learn about it from it. I think that's the main thing. I'm not educated in organizing, no.
Yeah, to be honest, me neither. In my regular job, because it probably comes as no surprise that this is not my fully supporting daytime job. In my regular job, I am a project manager. and that really helps. I mean, organizing a festival is like organizing a project.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I also don't have any education as a project manager, so
Okay.
It seems like you are fully qualified to start your own.
Right? Maybe next year.
go for it.
Thank you.
Thank you too, and on to the next one.
One thing you learned event manager, never do a festival, because really what you learn there is destructive. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Perry. I was wondering, you got a lot of bands, and it was your first event. I want to know the weirdest thing, because you were talking about what your act would get as his act during the day. So I want to know the weirdest thing what's ever been on a rider, or whatever happens with a band, what they will expect or what they asked you to do. Oh, a rider is what a band sends to the event. What must be like in the only want blue M&Ms, that kind of stuff, or a meal or a bottle of rum or stuff like that.
I really don't understand the question.
Het apartste wat je ooit hebt meegemaakt, wat een band vroeg in zijn rider aan je. Wat zei je? Verwarmde kleedkamer?
Heated room during Castlefest with 25 degrees outside. It's not practical. No, it's the most odd thing.
Yes.
There are a lot of bands who put something in the rider with what's really strange.
Yeah, so they know you have read the rider.
Then you have to ask about it, and then they know you read it.
Yeah.
That's the blue M&M thing. Yeah, but it's mostly champagne, vodka. It's drinks, a kind of a brand of beer they want. It's clothing room, good food, but no. In the riders there are mostly not really strange things.
I think Blaecky, yeah.
We have had one time a band wanted to have a television in the backstage cabin, and we have to install it because one of the members of the band wanted to look the football games at the afternoon.
That could be important.
That's an odd thing.
Yeah. No, niemand.
Any other takers?
Bijzondere dingen in de rijders?
No, not really.
Heb je dan iets raars meegemaakt met een band?
This is probably the wrong time to admit this since the camera's rolling, but I haven't actually read the riders, to be honest.
That's how you get those M&M's questions.
We do get a lot of strange questions from bands when they are on the train. Most foreign bands want to visit Amsterdam, and that's not for the tourist things.
Why ever would they? Yeah.
Yeah. Or they ask for, drugs. Yeah. Sometimes
Drugs
it
en
happens.
alcohol, het kan allebei in Nederland. Dus,
Yeah.
So even in the folk scene, there's still a rock and roll going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I think we have time for one last question. Oh, well, yeah, go for it.
Hello, I want to ask you something about ideas. I think you visit each other's festivals also, or other festivals in the countries. But have you ever think so from, whoa, that's a great idea, I want to have it on my festival, or do you steal someone's idea sometimes?
Don't tell Mark, but we had a wicker man. I have no idea where that came from.
I didn't hear the last part. You had ask about good ideas, but
Yeah, but or you steal some ideas from each other. without saying I want to do this also.
Stealing ideas.
How about a midnight event about, what was it, a fighting tournament in the middle of the night?
It's good to be inspired from other things, other festivals, and then take the idea, if you think it's really a good idea, and turn it to something that fits you. So it's good to be inspired from other festivals. Really hardcore copying, that's not the good thing, I think. But in the end, if you are being copied, like a band is being covered, it is a compliment.
Me, I try always to make new things what you haven't seen somewhere before. And in the beginning, from the first time on, we started with workshops. And then I saw, there are workshops on this festival, and there start workshops there and there. Then we started with literature. Now you have on some other festivals also some literature parts. Yeah? Yeah, as you said, if you make your job good, then you are copied, and that's okay.
So now I'm really curious how many academies will be held at your festivals outside of Castlefest. Okay, so we're gonna have to close the session. It was the first academy we had this year. There are 5 more to come, Q&A sessions with bands, but also one, like my last question, was regarding the volunteers on Sunday, which I think is an awesome one to attend.
That would be one I want to attend, because I don't understand why our volunteers are working that hard every year, and in the end they come to us and say thank you.
Martin,
we are so thankful to them.
And Martin, you had this, right? There was somebody when all were tired and done for, and somebody was actually asking you, will you please have me back?
Yeah, well, basically they all wanted to come back. They were all very happy afterwards. And even though they had to work upwards of 12 hours in the pouring rain on Friday, really appalling conditions, and even though they didn't sign up for that, but they just all loved it. But I do understand, because I'm a volunteer myself at another festival, which I still continue to do. And it's just the best 2 weeks of your life: construction, deconstruction, the festival. Being a volunteer is just absolutely amazing. But yeah, why these people come back to me, I really don't understand. But they were amazing.
I think it's, like I said, because of what happens at a festival, the connection that is there, the energy that is there, I think it changes people's lives.
The family.
The family, exactly. And I know you don't want to take too much credit for it, but I think it's because there are people like yourselves, all 4 of you, that are brave enough, maybe we have a 5th, that at one day decide, no, we're going to make this happen, we're going to start our own festival. So would you please thank these people for doing what they do, because I think it's amazing and I'm so grateful that you do. So please give them a round of applause. Well, then I want to thank you for the questions you asked, those who were brave enough to step up. And if you heard any of the other topics, or read them on page 8 in the booklet that is there in both Dutch and English. I would very much like to see you again at the other 5 that we will have this weekend. So once again, thank you to you all, and thanks very much for showing up and asking your questions.